Hello. Sorry, I didn't know what happened there. I think it just got stuck on the 25, and I was
Good
like, "What the hell's
start.
going on?" Right. Anyway, welcome to Follow Everton. With me, Andy Parker and Goodison on Twitter, and out, which is obviously X. Hang on, the dog's stuck in here. She'll be a pain. Right, out. Good girl. Right. Sorry about that. Right, and then we're joined by Corey. Obviously a fellow, fellow Evertonian, and also fellow Everton presenter. So we're hopefully going to be joined by Yandalf very shortly. So let's talk about Wolves.
Yes, not Brentford. Swerved that. Yeah. So, what do you think, mate? Are you feeling confident going into the game tomorrow?
um, I was. I was absolutely thinking, this is quite easily going to be a walk in the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Arrogant, yes, but given Wolves' form, you kind of like you can't help but. I know Premier League, any game's hard. I'm not going to demise what Wolves are as a club. I mean, they're going through a tough time at the moment. Um, but after Brentford, I'm nervous.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That kind of the way that game transpired, and it looked like the confidence drained out of like everyone was just completely at sorts, weren't they? The whole team, pretty much.
Mm.
It's one of them where you think, is that going to have a negative effect, like a knock on? 3 games in the space of a week. It's either a really good chance to get loads of points, or it's a really good chance to get yourself into a bit of bad form.
Well,
Um,
it's the FA Cup, isn't it, on Saturday? So yeah,
that's it.
and the way that we'll obviously cover that in another show. But this is obviously the Wolves preview, so yeah. Um, so what? Just thinking, where we where do we start on this one? Because I think there's a lot to learn from what happened on Saturday. Was it Saturday? Sunday.
Yeah, I
Just got
mean,
back from work. Sorry, I've been away for like 6 days,
no.
5 days. I don't know.
Should we,
Been getting up at like 4 in the morning to go in. So yeah, not anyway. Right. So yeah. So Wolves, tricky one. Their form, obviously, of late. They've actually won a game now. The first one, I think we were talking about it in work, and we were saying, are they going to get lower points than Derby did that season? And you think, well, potentially, but I think tomorrow is going to be it's not going to be as easy as what we all thought. I think a week ago.
yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. There's two ways of looking at this because coming into the game, most of us, and it's just a pessimistic side that Everton have kind of beat us into, is similar to Brentford, where they've got their first away win, their only away win of the season against us. Wolves, that would have been the perfect game for Wolves to come in and get a win, wouldn't it? Against
Mm.
Everton, they've been absolutely much better than them in a decent bit of form apart from the Brentford game, and then this team who's on a terrible run of form is going to come in and get their only win against Everton. Now we've kind of avoided that by them getting that win against West Ham, which is that a positive that we've kind of got that token win, which maybe not relaxes the fans, but it kind of takes it out the mindset. Or like you've said, they've got that win now. They've got two wins unbeaten, a point against United, and obviously a win 3-0 win, a big win against West Ham. So are they a team on the up? Are they going to be in the ascendancy? And are they going to be able to use that uplift from the game against West Ham to then go against us and see? Yeah, there's some fragilities here with the Everton side.
Yeah, absolutely, and I don't think for 1 second they're going to. I think they're already down personally. Again, sorry, Wolves fans. I don't think you. I think you all know that you're not coming back from it. But you're right. It's now probably about pride more than anything. Um, so yeah, you know what, it is going to be a tough game, and we need Hill Dickinson buzzing, to be honest, if it up for it. Whether that's going to be the case, because I think there's on Twitter there's tickets flying around everywhere. I think the resale is still up. Corporates haven't sold. First time This is the first game. Now, this is quite interesting. The first game that it didn't just go to the ballot, it went to general sale for
Yeah.
members. And I was quite shocked at that. I know everyone's saying, well, it's January, it's early on, it's cold, it's this, it's that. But I still, Wall at the time, we were kind of, flying a bit, and Wolves were just losing game after game after game. So I was still surprised that it didn't, with everyone going, oh, I've been on the ballot and not got a ticket and all this. And, I just was quite surprised with the lack of demand, if I'm being brutally honest with you. Is the shine coming off the Hill Dickinson?
No, I don't think so. I think you've got 3 games in the space of a week, 3 home games in the space of a week. One of them is an FA Cup game, which is not even less than half the price, basically a third of the price of a normal ticket. So I think a lot of people who would maybe try and go to this game are going to go to the one on the weekend. It's easier to go to the weekend games than it is to go to the midweek games. It's not going to be late at night, so it's not going to be absolutely freezing, because it was absolutely Baltic walking up to the stadium on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a couple of little facts like that. It's obviously Christmas. People who can afford to go to 1 or 2 games probably going to choose this one of the 3 of them to not go to.
Yeah,
people are
no,
really from Christmas,
you're
January,
right.
isn't it? So
It's probably just me overthinking it. So we'll just go to some of the comments quickly. So Eugene, why is it not coming up? There we go. Did anyone watch the Prez today? I haven't had a chance, Eugene. So if you want to put in the comments, that would be brilliant. Actually, thank you. If you're okay with that. Don't tell Rhino, because he'll probably sack me. Prerequisite. We're missing key players, but that means the fringe players have to step up and show the credentials. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. And I think some of that goes into what, because we'll merge the 2 comments there, because I've seen the presser. There's no one new coming back from injury. Keane is going to be fit again. However, it's a case of, is he going to be able to start the game? Is he going to be able to play the full game? So it could be a case of, is it going to be Jake O'Brien moving into centre back? Is who's going to play on right back? Is it going to be Patterson? Is it going to be Garner? Is it going to be Maitland Rule? And again, no Dewsbury Hall. We know about the 2 players at AFCON and no Alcaraz. So it's a case of then what happens at the back. I personally think you should go back. If Patterson's fit, play with him. O'Brien, Tarkovsky, Michalenko. Keane was poor. Whether it's because he was fit or what, I'm not too sure. Or we played too high of line, I'm not sure. But I'd play O'Brien. His pace allows us to play a couple of yards further up. And having someone who's going to be less of a centre-back and better on the ball, i.e. Patterson as a right-back, even though I don't think he's great, or Garner or Roll, it allows us to play better football there. And when we're at home, this is the thing that we're missing, playing Jake O'Brien at home at right-back. We're just not getting attacking enough, and it allows teams to grow into it. And that's when we pretty much start to struggle. I think when at your home games, especially somewhere new, you need to get the crowd on side. And when the Hill Dickinson Stadium's rocking, oh my days, the noise coming from that South Stand, coming in general, is ridiculous. But when it's not, there are massive lulls in the game from the crowd. I could sense that on the energy against Brentford the other day. And the fact that we couldn't, once they got that goal, the energy just completely sucked out of us. And the away side just passed around us. So I think maybe being a bit more positive, having someone who's better going forward, better on the ball, more positive on the fullback role, and then O'Brien who can push us a couple of yards up. So I hope we do that. And then it's a case of the midfield. Again, like I said, no Dewsbury Hall, no Alcaraz, but all the other players seem to be fit. It's a case of, are we going to risk anyone, or are we going to rest them against Sunderland on the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, this begs the question now. Where the hell's Bramthwaite? Because we've been told that he's been coming back from injury, for weeks now, and there's still no sign, and I don't get it.
But my belief, based on what he said, based on the timescales with Roll and Bramthwaite, and especially considering the injury that Bramthwaite had, and the fact that he had surgery, my assumption is that he'll come into the squad probably the end of January. That's what I think. I think
it's a long way to go, isn't it?
It's a long way to go. But I reckon probably the end of February he'll come in. Look, that means he's missed about 55%, 60% of the season there, which is massive considering how important a player he is for us, and the fact that he's got international tournament at the end of the season that he wants to try and get in the England squad for. So he's really going to have to put all his effort in when he gets in at that point. But it's that for me, mate. That's all I think it is that he's probably due back at the end of the month.
Yeah, I'm not being funny, but I'm kind of like, I'm watching AFCON. I'm praying Senegal get knocked out, and it's just not happening. They're going all the way, aren't they?
I don't know.
It shows we're missing.
Did a good team, Senegal, but I think, and I'm surprised I'm saying this because I didn't think it at the start of the tournament, but Nigeria are absolutely steamrolling everyone. Nigeria doing fantastic in the AFCON. So I know we want Njai back, but I personally want Senegal to do really well. I want them to come back on a high and then just take it into the Premier League. I know we're missing for an extra game, but I think if they come back after winning the AFCON, I think them two players, Gay and Njai, are going to absolutely smash it when they come back. They're positive.
Yeah, it's just it just shows, doesn't it? How we're desperately missing, especially Njai and Gay to an extent. But it does show you that what a player that he is for us.
Yeah, and do you know what? I think Diblin has come in and he's done all right. Yeah, Brentford not great, but I think personally a lot of that was due to tactics, due to him being stifled by the tactics and the selection around him. But we do. Njai brings a completely different dimension. He's a lot more direct than Diblin is. He's probably our most direct player, isn't he, on the whole pitch?
Yeah.
So we do need them back. But in all honesty, mate, what's more important to me is we can keep saying this, but we need a right back. Peter Duggan. He's mentioned there from the press conference where Moyes is basically saying that TFG, Freaking Group, aren't prepared to spend any money for the January transfer, which, pretty much what they were getting at. They all did say that they are looking at players to purchase, but it has to be the right player, and they don't really want to. You don't want a player you don't want to panic buy, basically, which I think is rubbish because there are 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even 10 right backs out there who will instantly improve us as a team, who you can get for less than £30 million. Some better than others.
Right. So I've just put this on because it brings on to chat. We'll talk about transfers. So actually, me and Corey are going to do a transfer special next Monday. Not putting you on the spot there, am I?
No.
So we're not going to cover this question because it probably we're going to park that one, okay? But we'll come back to that question on Monday. We haven't decided the time yet, but we will. It'll be Monday. Moyes messed up last match. Changing the back line didn't help. But he was forced to, wasn't he?
No, I don't think so.
No?
It was. I don't think he needed to change it as much as he did. I think you keep the centre-back pairing the same in O'Brien and Tarkowski. That's the most important thing, is that consistency between centre-backs. I think when Moyes was in previously, Jagielka Lescott, Jagielka Distin, that centre-back partnership was fantastic. When you've got consistent centre-backs together and they've got that cohesion, you've got that chemistry, you keep it going the same. So that's the one thing he made a mistake of, especially considering that a lot of people seem to think that Michael Keane wasn't fit. Most of the goals went through Michael Keane, and I don't mean to make him a scapegoat because he's been fantastic this season. He's been our best defender, to be honest, but it just didn't work. It wasn't the time to bring him in. You stick with the two centre-backs doing well, and if you do need to bring someone in to play right back, especially at home against a team that's struggling, you need to be positive. Then if that's the case, you play Roll at right back or you play Garner at right back if Patterson's not fit. That's the only change I would have made. And in midfield, I can understand them doing a change in midfield to keep it fresh. McNeil at number 10. Well, I wouldn't do it. I get it. But the issue we had there is then at half-time, taking McNeil off and bringing Roll on isn't a major issue. But bringing Diblin off and putting Better on completely lost. We lost the midfield. We were losing the midfield battle anyway, but we completely gave it up then. And just to bring it into the game against Wolves, that's one of the things I'm most concerned about, is that what we've seen from Wolves, usually they play 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1. The past two games where they've got the draw against United, the win against West Ham, they've gone into 3-5-2 and they've got a lot of energy. The new lad that they've got in there, Mane, is full of energy, full of running. He's got technical ability, and I think that they're probably going to try and frustrate us, try and win the midfield battle, ruin the kind of the atmosphere of the ground, and stop us trying to bounce back and trying to get on top of things. So I personally think at that point, what Moyes needs to do is not play McNeil. Diblin's fine to play out wide right. If he wants to play McNeil, okay, I'd still play Diblin because I think he's better. But instead of playing McNeil at the number 10, because he was completely missing. The only time he did anything really was when he went over to the left-hand side to try and play left midfield in the same position as Grealish. And then we had no one in the middle, no one to support Diblin. I think you play either Mail and Roll, although I'd rather play Harrison Armstrong as the number 10 or the third central midfielder, probably the most advanced. Because he can play that number 10 role. The lad's got creativity, but he's hard working and he'll drop back. He's somewhere between a box to box and a number 10 for me. He's got a lot of technical ability. He's very positive. He wants to go forward, and the lad's got physicality as well. So I think that's what you do. If not, you play Mail and Roll in that position. But 3 central midfielders instead of McNeil, who goes missing, want to win that midfield battle. And then you want your fullbacks, Mikalenko on the left, and then either Patterson or Royal on the right-hand side. You want them pushing up to support the midfield as well. And that way, Diblin, Grealish can tuck inside or do whatever they need to do. You need to win that midfield battle.
Yeah, I mean, I completely forgot about Harrison Armstrong there because he's been recalled from Preston, hasn't he? And he's been ripping up. There's also and then Sharif's been also being recalled from Rotherham. So we are getting a few players, and they're doing the right things by actually activating these recalls.
Yeah, so I don't know if Martin Sheriff, to be fair, I don't know if Martin Sheriff is more due. Since he's been at Rotherham, he scored a couple of goals, but he's had quite a lot of injuries. So I don't know if they're trying to get him here just to keep him on the physical side of thing and just manage him for the second half of the season in the academy, and then see where he goes from next season. That's the most likely scenario for me with Martin Sheriff.
Even with Ryan Kerry's hold the back in the team, the ceiling doesn't matter who the manager is. We won't be going higher than 10th, right? With the players So again.
Sorry, mate, I can't hear you. Can't hear you, mate.
You hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah. Sorry, my headset cut out and that decided to mute me. Okay, so what was the talk? What was it all about?
So, enjoy Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah.
Ceiling being 10th or 9th.
And Peter Lund's correct. At the end of the day, it's Keith, this ugly head of strikers, isn't it? All the time. We're missing a striker. Between right back and striker, what do you think is our main priority?
Right back, without a doubt. Striker, I still believe. I said this when he come in. I said he'll take a bit of time to settle. He'll take a bit of time to get into the team. But once he's in, he's going to be a decent player. Tierney Barry. You need to get used to the physicality. You need to get used to a bit of confidence. Look, he's got 3 goals in his past 5 games. One of them he didn't start. 2 in the past 2. So he'll start the game. If he gets another goal tomorrow or a goal on Saturday, then he's got a few in a short amount of time. The lad will go on a run of form and he'll do well. I've got no issues with Barry being the starting striker. Beto brings a lot of energy. We could probably do with a third striker, yes. Probably someone on loan or a free agent, someone who's more experienced, who can teach Tierney Barry and is going to do more of the inside the box work. So we've got options between Beto or whoever the third one would be. The most important thing, because it affects our balance, it stops us being creative going forward, and it means that we're playing players out of position, i.e. Jacob Bryan not playing centre-back, then that is the major issue for me. We need a right-back. It's a position that we've got strikers, regardless of the quality. We've got a left-back, regardless of the quality. We don't actually have a right-back. So we need that right-back. And then, like I said, I think Barry will grow more and more and more into it, to the point where he'll be a 10-goal-a-season striker by the end of next season.
Yeah, no, I totally get that with the physicality, and I get it with him. But the issue is we need someone now. We need to get rid of Beto, I think, and we need to. Why he's got some value, because I think there's like Lazio sniffing around, or there's a few teams, and like I think we can get short and get them invested, get someone in, you know. But again, we're going on to transfers, which we will discuss in a lot more detail on next Monday when we've got these 2 games out of the way. We don't know. We may be talking differently. You know, Barry might have bashed 5 in tomorrow. Sorry, or I mean, I'm dreaming, but you know what I'm saying.
But mate, yeah, no, when you look, he's got 2 and 2. This is what strikers feed off. You get 1, you get 2,
Yeah.
and you start moving forward, and that's what strikers feed off. Before his first goal, he barely had a shot on target, and then he was getting shots on target but not scoring them. Now he's getting in the position. You look at the strike that he had against Burnley when the ball was on his left foot. He hit that with decent strength. It was just a really, really good save by Dubravka in goal. So he's getting in positions. He's doing the striker thing. Ironically, even though he scored on the weekend, he was actually pretty poor against Brentford, but he still got a goal.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that we keep forgetting as well, he's had a few offsides that he's actually netted, and been disallowed, and some of them were absolutely cruel. So you should have been allowed. Obviously, you know what? I'm not saying sorry. I want the lads to succeed, like every single Evertonian does. I get he's one for the future, and I understand that he's probably been put in a horrible situation where he's been brought in thinking, well, I'm not probably going to get much game time this season. You know, let bed in, then we'll go next season. But the whole Beto situation, and he's probably been thrusted into it. And you know what? He's doing a decent job. I get what you're saying, but I still think we are lacking the strike, and I still think we need that out and out prowess to get through. Should we go through some of the comments?
Yeah, go on, mate.
Yeah. I like Dibbling just needs to be more confident. Not having a decent right back doesn't help. Well, yeah, we've covered that one, to be honest with you.
He was hung out to dry. He was hung out to dry against Brentford. The amount of times he got the ball, and it's not Jacob Ryan's fault because he's not a right back; he's a centre back. But he was not once did he overlap him, which dragged the play, which gave Dibbling more space to run into. Every time he got the ball, he had his back to goal on the halfway line, 2 men on him. Eric Boonham too far deep. McNeil was nowhere near him. He was always drifting off to the left hand side. So we got absolutely no support for Dibbling, which I don't think it was his fault on the weekend again. I wouldn't have took him off. I'd have took McNeil off for some Armstrong in midfield, give him the support, and you'd have seen a lot more from Tyler Dibbling if he'd got that support. We've said it for ages. There's no point being a left-footed, there's no point being an inverted winger or coming in on your strong foot from the wing if you've not got a full-back or a wing-back to overlap to create that space. You're constantly stuck with nowhere to go.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of like, for McNeil, moves like a canal barge. Yeah, probably can't even argue about that. Dibbling at the end of the first half tried to cross the ball and couldn't even get it past the first Brentford player. Yeah, but it will come. Well, I think it will. I think 40 million was Southampton had our pants down, being quite honest with you. We are going to move on to predictions in a moment. So if you want to get your predictions in before we come on to that segment, we'll get them on. Okay, what was it? Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme, get on up. It's brilliant. Aye.
Sanka, you did yet?
Yeah. Start Barry, no doubt. Armstrong, we need more energy. Well, at the end of the day, he's match fit. You know, it's not like he's been sidelined for 6 months. You know, he should be able to slot back in to the squad. And you know, I agree. I do agree. Why are we playing? Even considering McNeil at this point? Moy should be moved on during the summer. I disagree with that. No, I've got no words. I can't see why anyone would think that, because at the end of the day, if you look at where we've been for the past 5 seasons, last season was 10 points further on than where we are. We're not even mentioning the R word anymore. You know, we're talking the E word. We've got aspirations to get there. Whether we get there is another matter, but we're looking up instead of down. I don't see what he's really done. Ryan thinks signings are unlikely, apparently.
That's correct. Yeah, it'll be. We'll probably might get a free or a loan in. I reckon we'll get 1 or 2 players in towards the very end. But with that being said, I will still be absolutely seething if we don't get a right back in.
Yeah.
There are right backs out there. I won't go into them because we'll keep us on a string till Monday.
Yeah.
But there's right backs out there, different valuations, different kind of parts in their career, all very much available to go for. So.
Yeah, again, I'm not saying they won't not get better. 40 million was a big mistake by the Verucan group. Yeah, again, totally 40 million for the development play, but we were just following them for the whole. And Southampton technically did have our pants down, but we had theirs because they wanted more. What Wolves had the momentum. I'm worried, and I totally agree. This is what I've said right at the beginning, that there is the issue of, well, they're coming back up, they're coming off a win, that will feed their confidence because they've been so poor for the whole season. So go on then. Let's move on to what's the predicted starter lineup then, Corey.
So Pickford in goal, of course. My prediction is that it will be O'Brien, Tarkowski, Keane, and Mikalenko, with Keane coming off fairly early.
Mm-hmm.
What I would do is Patterson, Tarkowski, O'Brien, Mikalenko, or Mail and Roll at right back. In the midfield, you've got Eric Boonham, you've got Garner, and then the more advanced of the three, but not as a number 10 necessarily, Harrison Armstrong, Diblin on the right, Grealish on the left, Tieno Barry up front. That is what I would go for. You've got the balance in the midfield. You've got energy. You've got balance. Players that can go forward. Players that can play all across that midfield line. Pretty much all three of them can play in all 3/3 of the of the zones in the pitch. I think Barry deserves to play another game because he's got 2 goals and 2. Although Beto did do well when he come on. And
they both scored, didn't they?
Grealish is our best player. Diblin, I like the look of him if he just gets the support, especially if he's got a fullback or someone who's going to go past him and give him a bit more space. And again, I would personally play O'Brien with Tarkowski, fitness reasons, tactical reasons, to keep things consistent. So that's what I would go for.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'd probably tend to agree with you. Definitely, I would put in Armstrong over McNeil. There's no question in my mind there. This is an interesting role play. Right, played okay at right back against Forest, and you probably mentioned it there, really. So should we move on to predictions then?
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
Yeah. Guys, we will win 2-0. Right. So what I personally think it'll be 1-0.
Yeah.
I just think, as I say, I've just got no confidence in this. I've got no confidence going up to Saturday. And again, I think it's just the pessimism with me sometimes. I usually go 2-0 or a 2-1, but I think it's going to be a draw, 1-1 draw. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's just pessimism in me after Brentford, really.
I think 2-0. I get the pessimism. I will honour you by going with your usual 2-0. I think Moyes, we do quite often under Moyes, we bounce back after a poor result. We'll see it either a clean sheet or we'll play a strong game. We'll defend pretty well, and maybe 1-0, but I think we'll go for 2-0.
Fair enough. Okay. James Graham goes 2-1. He's gone with Barry and Grealish to score. Are we going to talk about the elephants in the room here with Grealish? I think he's a great player, and I'm not criticising him, but he doesn't seem he wants to shoot. He always wants to cross it. He always wants to feed the ball, and
that's the position that he's in. Though he's always out pretty far wide. I think if you had a left back that he trusts. I don't think he trusts Mikalenko. If you had a left back that he trusts, he would pass it to the left back and drift in a lot more into a position where he can lay it off for a shot or pass it to someone. But his game has always been to get assists. He doesn't really get loads of goals, but as long as if he's not getting loads of goals, as long as he's getting assist after assist and creating dangerous actions, which he is one of the top players, like top 3 players for goal scored actions created. I think he's top 3 for assists for the season. So he's doing his job. He's putting the ball into the positions. The issue is partly strikers maybe not having a go of it as much, but more so it's the players. We're not getting enough players in the box when that ball comes in. I think Grealish doing everything that he can. He's great on the ball. He put a couple of balls in on the weekend. He could have probably put a few more in. Yeah, he can be a bit more. Could be a bit more direct. But he also got 2 assists.
No, I'm not. I don't mean to. I'm not having a go at him. I'm not, honestly. Not having the pop at him. He's great and probably get hate for it, but I probably won't, let's be honest. But I just think that, you're right in what you're saying, but it's just frustrating to see that, when he's 1-on-1, sometimes he just doesn't. He chooses the pass, and you just just have a fucking go. Sometimes have a go. You know what I'm saying?
Well, was the Bournemouth one where he did just have a go, and obviously we got something from that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's just a piss take, but I like your optimism. And hopefully we can do it, but you never say never in this game.
You know what? I would love it if it was 16-0.
Yeah, of course. Massive goal difference would be brilliant. Yeah, so there's a lad at Blackburn Rovers that we are looking at, but again, I think that's one for Monday night.
Which one's is he on about? Ryan, the Nigerian fella,
Yeah,
the one who's at AFCON.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but there is someone that we are looking from Blackburn, so we'll do some research into that.
I'm sure he got injured.
Oh, is he?
Okay. I could be wrong. I was talking to one of the lads at work today. They're Nigerian, and they said he's injured, but I could be wrong.
Fair enough, but be typical that, wouldn't it? But it's typical to get, to identify someone, then he's just injured and we can't get him. Wow. Beto is so much better than Barry. Lads, they're basically the same player. Do you think? What's your?
I think I've not seen what that is, but I think that's responding to someone saying Beto's better than Barry. I'm not too sure. I think Barry's a better all-round player. I bigged up Beto, to be honest. I still think he has a lot to offer if you play the ball in front of him. He's completely unpolished, yes. But if you put the ball in front of him, he will cause defensive issues. We've just not played to his strengths. But that being said, Barry is a much better footballer. He's got a much better ceiling. His ability to control the ball, to bring players into the game is a lot better. And he will grow more and more, and he will get goals.
Oh, there we go. There we go. So this is probably a cop-out. They're at 16-0. How sad have you got to be with your life to come on to an Everton stream?
Who's this?
Don't look at what you've seen that comment there.
That's Pikes' never told you. He joins all the time.
Yeah. Fucking sad, isn't it?
Why talking about United?
What?
Talking about United.
Yeah, all the shite. To be honest with you. Slot's getting sacked, so hopefully. United aren't much better, they haven't got a fucking manager. I think he got Dibbing and then realised he was so raw. Surely then that's a scouting issue. How do you not pick that up?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is very much a case of Moyes wanted him to be at a physical level. The fact that we had Njai there, he wasn't going to start him. He wants him to be a bit more refined defensively, a bit more responsible, and probably a little bit more physical as well. And I think that's what it is. I just think Moyes doesn't trust him. Moyes hasn't been the greatest at trusting young players. I don't know if there's been any revisionism in regards to this, but Moyes has never been the greatest with trusting young players. We got Baines in and he waited like 3/4 of a season before throwing Baines, and he played left back. Yeah. And I remember Evertonians absolutely screaming for Baines to play left back at that point.
Yeah, please see you 1878 says 3-0. Different one. I think we're going to lose 2-0. I don't think we're going to lose 2-0. But who knows? And then Barry goes, I'm going to go 2-0. Not confident, but we should be beating these. And that's the thing. That's exactly, we should be absolutely correct. The way that they play this season, there isn't, we should. I'm worried for tomorrow, but generally after a bad display, we bounced back again. What you said, 2-1, and yeah. So, should we wrap this up then?
Go on, mate. Let's do it.
I think we've covered virtually everything. To be honest, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, where are you watching the match, or are you at home, or are you going, or?
I don't know. I might end up going, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Well, I'm home, so I'm definitely going. I can't wait. Miss a few this season, so with work and stuff like that. But you got to pay the bills, right?
That's it, mate.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, so thank you very much for listening to us drone on. Being a bit raw tonight with a little bit internet connection problems and Cavapoo problems, and yeah, just generally me problem. Yeah, there we go. Let's have it straight. If you have liked this content, you do like the channel, or you want to see more of us, please hit the like and subscribe. It really does help our algorithms. But other than that, up the fucking toffees.
Up the toffees.